Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome back to On Texas Football. Welcome back to Coffee and Football. It is Friday. On Fridays, I like to always do this if I'm up early. Woo! A little Ric Flair woo for you. It always wakes me up, gets the blood going. I'm a lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers. Pleased to be joined by another lifetime Longhorn, young prodigy CJ Vogel, and the estimable Jerry Hamilton. Folks, Bobby is out. He's got some business to handle, but we'll get you going through the Coffee and Football this morning. Whatever you guys want to talk about, throw it out there. Questions, comments. We'll try to address as many of them as we can. Super chats always jump to the front of the line. You can interrupt the show at any time and throw out a super chat. There is a big announcement coming up today, actually, on the Pat McAfee show. Brock Williams, the big-time tight end coming out of Illinois, I believe it is, right, Jerry? He is announcing today. I think and we'll get to some other news. Of course, softball at 3, baseball at 6:30. Of course, thank you for reminding us. We'll get to some of the other Longhorn news. But shout out to our sponsor, South Point Dodge is our lead sponsor. We'll give you some more messages from our sponsors, including our friends at Prize Picks as well. But first, Jerry, let's talk about Brock Williams a little bit because this is definitely the topic that is at the forefront for Longhorn football fans right now, and his announcement coming up on the Pat McAfee show. You know you big time when you get the Pat McAfee platform, right?
You know it's going to be an entertaining announcement. That's why I've been saying it's going to be entertaining. There's going to be something. Pat's going to bring entertainment to it. Yeah, look, his recruitment started with Georgia in front for a long time, for most of the season, even before the season. And by the way, he's up to 225 pounds. I actually posted the tweet from him on our On Texas Football announcement thread for Brock Williams. So he's still listed at 210, 215, but he's 225 now. But his recruitment was definitely a Georgia lean during most of the season, if not all of the season. But Texas has done a good job. He got on campus for the Arkansas game. He had a great visit there. Jeff Banks has been recruiting him for a year now. Brock's been on campus multiple times. Look, we've heard for weeks, whether it's myself, Hank, CJ, Bobby, we've all heard the same thing. That there's a lot of reason to be optimistic if you're Texas for the last few weeks in this recruitment. But we always wait until the guy announces, because we've seen the rugs pulled before in recruiting. This is the NIL day and age. But with Jackson Dollar going to Georgia, and having been Texas and Georgia, we still feel we haven't heard anything to back us off being confident it's going to be Texas. But as always, we wait for these guys to announce. Guys, we've all watched him. Rod, what's your takeaway on him as a prospect?
I love him as a prospect because I think, like a lot of great tight ends, he's an athlete, kind of cosplaying tight end for right now. And he gives you a lot of different tools at tight end. He's got yak ability after the catch. He's great in traffic and contested catch situations, strong, aggressive hands, really, great concentration at the catch point. In terms of him being a blocker, he's willing and tenacious. He's going to have to put on some mass and some weight to see if he can be a true mauler or something like that at tight end. But as a pass catcher, he's got all the tools to be compatible in a Sark offense. You can line him up in line, you can flex him, you can put him in the slot, you can line him up out wide, you can line him up in the backfield too. So he's really, really versatile from that aspect. And I just like the fact, I think he's underrated as a route runner. But what stands out is that he's just in, like I said, contested traffic target situations. He's just really, really good, man. Like he doesn't need to necessarily be open. He just needs the ball placement to be in a certain place where he can go and fight for the football. And he does that really, really well. And I like that. I think he'll be good in scramble situations, which like the future quarterback, and Arch is good at it too, but Arch will be gone by the time if he commits to Texas, by the time he comes on campus. I like that Colston Loveland comparison. But he'll be good in scramble situations too. I think he'll be good in fade on kind of slot fades or seam routes for a tight end, crossing routes, which are big for Texas tight ends. Starts big on his tight ends, running a lot of crossing routes. He's going to be great on those because of his strong hands across the middle. So I like him overall as a prospect, especially as a pass catcher. The question is for all the tight ends, can you be multifaceted for Sark? Can you be a guy that also is an elite run blocker, as an elite pass receiver? He has the dimensions to become an elite pass receiver, but can he become an elite blocker? That's him adding mass, adding power to his game, adding strength to his game. And then he, like I said, he's got the attitude. He's tenacious and physical and wants to finish the block, runs his feet on contact, all those things you want. Just next level is a different era. He's going to be blocking, elite edge rushers sometimes.
SEC NFL guys, SEC NFL guys. Yeah. I mean, whether it's Texas or Georgia, well, we still have confidence in Texas. It's if he goes to the SEC, these are all NFL guys you're blocking on the edge. CJ, we're playing the what if game. If he commits to Texas at 12:05, is he the perfect Sark tight end for the scheme? That's kind of what I've thought. By the way, you don't see many tight ends returning kickoffs and punts for touchdowns.
Exactly.
Yes. No, that's exactly it. And the thing that excites me about Brock Williams is, look, I think evaluating tight ends at the high school level is very difficult, right? It's kind of, along that same vein as quarterback, where you see everything on tape and you say, yeah, that looks good, right? But does it translate? Will it translate? And a lot of it, like quarterback, is very mental. Do you have the want to go in there and hit someone that's 260 or 275 pounds over and over and over when called upon, right? It sometimes is a very ugly position with what you're asked to do. So a lot of it is, do I really want to do this? And, the receptions, the vertical passing ability is great. Rod, I don't disagree. I love the hands. I love the route running. I think in this offense, he would be a very good fit going downfield. But then you watch more of his tape and you say, oh, there's a couple pancakes in here. Yeah. Oh, he doesn't give up on contact after, a step or two, right? He plays through the whistle. He runs through contact, which I think is something that I really enjoy seeing from a tight end. I look back at previous Texas tight ends. Look, there was great yak ability. But a lot of that yak ability was making guys miss, right? If you're Gunnar Helm, you go back and you're jumping over folks. So I think that speaks a little bit to the overall tenacity of wanting to be physical. And Brock Williams is a guy that I see saying, I embrace the contact. I want to hit you. I want you to feel when I'm running with the football or if I'm blocking in that C gap. So that's something that I really had highlighted and circled and said, all right, that checks a box for me. Ultimately, I think it's something that when you see both sides of the want to and the physicality side on the run blocking scheme, and then the pass catching ability checks both boxes. And I think that would be exactly what you hope to see in a Sarkisian tight end moving forward.
It's fascinating. I think the tight end position right now is we're going through this renaissance, right? With the tight end position. You had 27 of them invited to the combine, 22 tight ends drafting tight ends, Jerry, that aren't necessarily weapons in the passing game, but they're great blockers in the run game. So you're just starting to see a whole new emphasis on different skill sets at the tight end position. And I think, and Jerry and CJ, this is great to ask you guys, are you seeing more tight ends being like at least ranked higher in the recruiting rankings overall? Are we seeing that trickle down effect where basically more top 100 players have been at the tight end position or are projected to play tight end, who have athletes a lot of times too, because it's hard to project? Are we seeing that trickle down effect? Because we're definitely seeing it at college. In the college level, we're seeing teams play, they're going to play more 12 personnel. We're seeing it at the NFL level. Are we seeing it at the high school prospect level too?
I think it's class to class. I think that's really what it is more so. I do think this about tight ends though. 7-on-7 in the combines, the growth of those has given tight ends a much better chance to market themselves, let's say, to present themselves in a recruiting rankings process. That's one of the things, if a Brock Williams can go to a Under Armour combine and put up really good testing numbers, right? I mean, that's kind of a position that I've seen through 7-on-7, through all the combines, the growth there, be able to put themselves on the map more so. I think tight ends in general, Rod, the thing that why I love the tight end position in the NFL is it's coming from so many sports. It's not, these aren't just football players, basketball players. They could be international guys who have never played football before. Like the tight end position, it's almost the one where the NFL is saying we can make somebody a tight end.
Yeah.
And it's almost the one position in football that's done more so than any other.
Totally.
I mean, I'll never forget going to watch Texas was playing Miami in a round of 32 basketball game when Frank Haith was the coach at Miami and Rick was at Texas in Little Rock. And Jimmy Graham was the power forward for Miami. And, look, I mean, that doesn't really happen at a lot of other positions where, hey, this guy was he's not going to play power forward in the NBA. You want to come over here and try tight end? That's what I think so intriguing about the tight end position is NFL people think they can make anybody a really good tight end.
Yes, because the all-time greats were a lot of that, right? Your Antonio Gates.
Yes.
Jimmy Graham.
Yeah, exactly. Travis Kelce was like a quarterback, I think, coming out of high school. You've had just basically, that's why I say I don't mind this young man being an athlete cosplaying at tight end. I don't mind it. I actually I prefer it. Because I think that's how you find great tight ends these days. Returning kicks, that's perfect for my tight ends to be that athletic.
Yeah.
Eli Stowers is the perfect example out of Vanderbilt this year.
Yes.
Right? One of the top tight ends taken. He was a quarterback commit going to A&M, and I think it's twofold there, right? It's one, the athleticism, the ability to make plays. The ball's always in your hands. But two, that kind of also shows you just how A&M evaluates quarterbacks. So
The old school. Yeah. Hey, by the way, what is a correlation between tight end and a basketball player? Using your body to shield people to go get a football, like a rebound.
True. Yeah, that's a good point.
Timing of when to leave your feet as a big athlete.
Yeah.
I think
there's
a correlation there. Playing through that contact to go rebounding outside your area, rebounding in traffic. There's a lot of things there that kind of correlate, I think, for scouts when they look at a Jimmy Graham and Antonio Gates, some of those guys. And it's not surprising a lot of those guys are really good basketball players as well. I mean, look, the top tight end, arguably, Brock Williams' is top 3 guy is Ahmad Hudson from Ruston, Louisiana. He was always going to go to LSU before anybody asked. What is he? He has about 15 Division I offers in basketball. There's a direct correlation between power forwards in basketball and tight ends.
And there are, I think, 4 top 100 tight ends pretty much in this 2027 class, Brock being one of them. There were 5 last cycle, 5 before that. I feel like, we're just people still starting to appreciate the tight end position. There's more value on it now, and maybe there's a trickle-down effect a little bit. I'll also throw this little nugget out there because I love it before we move on about tight ends, since everybody's excited about Brock Williams' announcement. Oh, by the way, Texas is second if you look at draft streaks.
Yes.
Tight ends. They are second behind Michigan, I believe it is. Yeah, Michigan is on a 4-year streak for having tight ends drafted. Texas on a 3-year streak right now.
It's a tough spot to get guys drafted consecutively. So
three straight. Yeah, it is. But
my last thing on Brock Williams, guys, is if he picks Texas today out of Libertyville, Illinois, that's a real proof of concept for Sark at the tight end position. To your point, Rod, having 3 years, guys drafted 3 years in a row, 3 different types of players, too. They're not you. Jatavion Sanders, Gunnar Helm aren't the same player, right? So he's done it with different types of athletes, different types of players, and different levels of recruits. I think would be a really good proof of concept win for Sark at the tight end position.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that. And how about this little nugget? I love this nugget, just talking about the tight end position overall and how difficult it is to, project and to evaluate. This year, this comes from the New York Times. They said there were multiple college walk-ons who were drafted at NFL tight ends this year. Almost half of the 22 tight ends didn't sign with an FBS team out of high school. Freaky. Yep. Tight end is a crazy. But that also shows you they're valuing other stuff at the tight end position too.
Yep.
It's hard.
Tight end need to be able to block. Yeah, no, tight ends. I think Sark has had capable, good blockers at tight end. I don't know if he's had like a true mauler as a run blocker yet. And maybe this young man could be Nick Townsend could easily be it. But then Nick Townsend's got to become a next level pass receiver. He's got to work on the pass catch capability, running routes downfield. He's athletic as all what? Yeah, he's ridiculously athletic. But he's got to work on refining and polishing those skills as a pass catcher. And so I think so all the tight ends have a challenge because they're not necessarily all completely well-rounded. yet, for certain. All right, good conversation, gentlemen. All right, let's thank our sponsor, our friends over at South Point Dodge. Before we move on, we appreciate our friends over at South Point Dodge. There's nothing like Texas football, and nothing runs like a Ram. South Point Dodge is Austin's Ram headquarters. The deals are hotter than a Saturday at DKR. Huge savings on Ram trucks and Jeep SUVs, plus exclusive perks for Texas football listeners. Right now, you got 90 days to make your first payment. That's right, you got 90 days to make your first payment with our friends over at South Point Dodge, and they'll ship that brand new ride to you no matter where you are, anywhere in Texas or beyond. Over 600 vehicles in stock right now, so whether you need a workhorse or a weekend warrior, a car, truck, something new, used, our friends over at South Point Dodge, they are Austin's automotive everything. So visit southpointdodge.com. That's southpointdodge.com, or go see them off of I-35 in South Austin. Get to the point with our friends over at South Point Dodge. Thank you very much to our friends at South Point Dodge. Also, while we're thanking sponsors, let's thank our friends over at Prize Picks. And folks, I got to tell you, if you're not picking with Prize Picks, you're doing yourself a disservice. It is the best way to make your sports watching experience just that much better. In today's show, brought to you by one of our sponsors at Prize Picks. I'm telling you, folks, it's a great way to make every possession matter, every at bat matters, every shot, every pitch. You're locked in from start to finish. You're not just watching anymore. You've got a lot of juice in it. And the best part is it's really easy. It's not complicated at all. Don't worry about, oh, I don't know if I'll understand it. That's really, technologically advanced. Nope, it's not at all. You just pick it more or less on player stats. You build your lineup, you submit it, and you're good. It takes maybe minutes, all right? If you want to do a deep dive, you can do that, or you can just keep it easy and simple, all right? And you can go across any sport you like. You can take your favorite player on your favorite team. You can mix and match that with basketball or hockey or baseball or golf or whatever you're into. Or you can just stick to the one sport that you love. Yesterday, we went 2 out of our 3. Now we just need this last one later this evening to make it a perfect pick. So waiting on Caitlin Clark to have more than 14.5 tonight. That is our pick we're going with. So right now we're feeling good about it. If you can trust your gut, lock it in. And now every single moment actually means something. Prize Picks is available in all 50 states, including right here in the great state of Texas. So if you haven't jumped in yet, now is the time. Download the app, use the code HMA, play $5, and they'll give you $50 in lineups instantly. That's the code HMA. First, download the app, use the code HMA, and 5 gets you 50. It's really that simple. And as always, please play smart, play responsibly, and play with our friends at Prize Picks. Thank you very much to our friends at Prize Picks. And I like that pick, though. Caitlin Clark, 14.5. Seems pretty good. It's a good one. All right. Let's hit a couple of. Oh, perfect timing. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
That was beautiful. We did not time that, folks. I'm telling you, that just happened. That was not. We did not time that at all. Nobody.
That was kind of like Batman. Pow.
Another Batman reference.
Long story, Jerry. But Rod was going down memory lane last night, talking about all the villains in Batman.
Oh man, no.
Kind of talking about how A&M, we're like the only rival they really have, and they,
yes.
OU seems to, it's like everybody wants to be Texas. We're like Batman,
Yes.
We got all the villains out there trying to knock Texas off. But anyway, boom, pow.
You know what makes that worse? Rod Babers sent this text, and we'd seen it, but a tweet said donations by SEC schools in Texas was at 160 million, and the second highest was Tennessee at 105, and everybody else is, at 55 or below. That's when you even become more of a villain.
That was released. I think Matt Stahl is his name. I hope I got it right. Yep. But yeah, he released that contributions, I believe, for the 2025 year in Texas. And by the way, I will say Texas, even though they're far and ahead of everybody in the SEC in sports contributions from donor BMDs, the big money boosters and donors, they make it count. I mean, they're cashing in. They're winning championships in all these sports. They're competing or winning championships in a lot of these sports too. So they're making the money count, if you will. All right. Coach, thank you for joining us. I appreciate that. Hopping on at the right time. How's your morning been going?
Oh, good. Been going good. Had some good coffee this morning. Nice semi-cool morning in Abilene, Texas. So, like my dad always said, every day above the ground's a good one. So
I like it.
I woke up this morning. That's good.
You damn right.
That's good.
Okay, I got a question for you guys though, because it's something we've talked about, and I want to get you guys' thoughts about it. We've oftentimes celebrated the player on the team that's been almost a symbol of the culture warrior on the Texas team, right? The Jay Witts of the world, the different players who kind of represent. Rojo was probably the first one that he celebrated, but Sarkis kind of always had that guy. I think Taft actually probably was that guy. Who is that guy for this team? Because I feel like Rojo was in at first for a few years.
Great question, Rod.
The guy that symbolizes the culture. Like I've been here from it all. I'm not necessarily even a starter. All right, but when it comes to doing whatever it takes for the team, sacrificing for the team, I'm that guy. And everybody on the team respects
Aaron
me.
Sorrell was one of those guys.
Definitely.
Yes, he had a lot of those guys. Who are those guys then? Do that multiple guys? Who is it?
An under the radar guy who certainly, I think, in the locker room has the respect just in the same conversation as all those guys you just mentioned, I think is Connor Robertson, the last member of that 2022 recruiting class on the offensive line. He's been here for 5 years, worked and stayed at Texas to earn that starting spot, in which going into his 4th year at Texas, he was not a starter, right? It wasn't until midway through that he became a starter. And we heard in the spring, hey, this is a guy that has commanded the huddle at times without an Arch Manning. So he's doing what those veteran experienced players in that offensive side should be doing at this point without, the face of your program, Arch, on the field. So that's one that I think hasn't gotten enough, acclaim just yet. But I think this fall it would be, if Texas were to play this year without Connor Robertson, I think it would be felt from a leadership perspective, especially up front.
That's good.
We got a left tackle that probably could be in that conversation as well, Trevor.
Yeah, that's true.
He's not an boisterous guy, right? But he is definitely one of those guys for the Texas staff. I agree with Coach. He just does it in a different way. But yes, I mean, I totally agree with Coach. Because everything you hear behind the scenes is Trevor Gooseby does everything that any Texas coach has asked of him since he's been in Austin.
Could it be? In the same breath, who's the defensive leader? I believe you got a couple. Colin Simmons and Jelani McDonald, and from my hero, Rasheem Biles is a natural leader as well.
Smith.
And then you got Jonathan. I feel like defense, you got multiple guys. Hero Kanu was probably ready to also be a leader at this point.
Oh, already,
right?
Yeah.
I feel like
the first transfer that stepped into that was Moore. I mean, like when he came over from Trey Moore, when he came over from UTSA, he was talked about like he was going to be a captain of a team, like within 3 months. Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see if there's a transfer that kind of moves into a similar conversation from the Texas staff. I don't think we've heard that yet. Somebody said Ryan Niblett. That's not a bad one.
No, Tyree Smith. I mean, the good thing is when you start going down that rabbit hole, you realize we got a lot of guys that could represent, maybe not on the same stage as Rojo and some of those guys, but we got, I mean, there's a lot of buy-in.
Yeah. And maybe the program's at the point where you don't need a Rojo, Jay Witts. I'm not saying obviously you always love those guys, but remember those guys had a different role because the program had different needs at the time. Now your program's at a different point, right? You had to sell. You still were selling in the dream and making sure that guys had the buy-in, and those guys were helping you gain the trust of the locker room and all that kind of stuff. And now I think you've gotten like multiple years and classes of guys who've been able to keep that buy-in.
It's to the point where it's almost expected, and those
exactly.
those roles are somewhat sought after by the players because they've seen the impact that those guys had on them.
Yeah.
And selfish players won't do that because it's not about the team, it's about them. But I think we have a lot of guys that really covet that role and would like to be in that role, even though, maybe Trevor Goosby, his personality doesn't lend himself so much to that, but still he's done everything they've asked him to do the way that they've asked him to do it. And he's been tough, and Connor's a great one too, that's a great question.
We always talk about how player-led teams, right, are kind of the goal for coaching staffs. I would say this team, Arch absolutely needs to be the leader of this team. Like, this is kind of the expectation. And I think he absolutely needs to be the leader of the team with guys that kind of help in that leadership role. I kind of wonder on defense. I'm wondering something different, guys. Is Will Muschamp going to be the leader of this defense? He is such a different personality. He has 3 national championship rings as a D coordinator. He can really, and he still comes across, even though he's older coach now, not old, but more experienced coach now, his personality hasn't changed. He's a dominant personality.
Yeah.
I'm thinking out loud.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
What does a coach want? Like a coach?
Well,
do you want the guys to just take on your personality, or do you want the players to kind of form their own thing? Like what?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both. I think back in his time here, I think that's the role Blake Gideon played. Blake Gideon was a Will Muschamp on the field. I mean, he was fiery, he was intense, he was, aggressive. I think that's one reason that's probably the first phone call that Will made when he got the job was, because I think across a coaching staff on each side of the ball and in general, you need to have different personalities. You can't all be Will Muschamps because not every kid responds that way,
Especially not today, Coach.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But I think, I think that's a great point, Jerry. And I think that, I think that they will just inherently take on that. Those that can within their personality take on that demeanor when they're playing. It's defense, man. It's tough. I mean, if there's one thing that needs to describe a defensive player, it's tough. Because you're trying to take, you're trying to have a violent collision every play, if you can. And so that's a great point, Jerry.
Coach, you brought up that Blake Gideon was, that coach on the field for Muschamp when he was at Texas. Who would be that guy on the field for him now? Who is that guy? If he has a player like that,
I was thinking about that when Coach Shipley was mentioning Gideon, and I'm not sure there is a Gideon. I'm not sure there is that guy on the surface for me right now.
Yeah,
interesting. It is probably not to that level, right? I think Michael Taft had some of that in him.
He did,
no doubt.
Yes,
Ty Anthony Smith, I think could be that, right? We heard immediately after, the bowl game against Michigan, Sark's in the presser saying, hey, for the last month and a half or so, he was the vocal leader of our linebacker room. And it was kind of a surprise to hear that, considering Anthony Hill's still playing, considering Trey Moore was still in the room, Brad Spence is there. And you sit there and say, really? Ty Anthony Smith has become almost the mouthpiece of what you hope to be the most vocal room on your defense. And then you go out there and you see his performance in the bowl game and see how the defense kind of rallied off of those turnovers. And you sit there and you say, okay, it kind of makes sense. So I wonder if that could be the pick whenever we come, I don't know, midway through 2026. We look around and say, all right, Rasheem Biles is great transfer in, but that heart, that soul of the defense, the vocal mouthpiece, it's number 26, it's Ty Anthony Smith. We'll see.
Rod mentioned earlier, guys,
He's good.
the name Rasheem Biles. He's the one guy that's been the leader of a defense as a college player already. And he is an alpha. But is he going to – do you walk in and become that at a place like Texas early on? He is an alpha, and he was the leader of the Pitt defense last year.
Yeah.
That's a big task to walk in and just be, boom,
And
try to take over the room at Texas and be a leader.
Now, have any of y'all heard the same about Justin Cryer at Florida State? Guy that played about 500 snaps a year ago, 700 in his career. He's played a lot of football.
Yeah. Yeah, and he plays that middle backer position too, right? I mean, he plays that physical mindset, A-gap thumper position. He is a green dot guy, right? So it's going to be interesting. And that's not a slight on a Colin Simmons, right? He's playing off the edge. There's just a difference, man. You normally look at a linebacker, you look at a safety. One of those two guys wouldn't shock me.
Who wears the green dot? Is it Ty Anthony Smith wearing the green dot? With who's going to communicate? Don't we got a green dot?
I think so. This far out, I think so.
Okay.
Now, keep in mind, Smith, Biles, Cryer, Atkinson, all these guys have been in the Muschamp system the same amount of time, right? So there's no one guy leading the charge because of continuity or anything.
True. That's a good point.
But
from
what we heard in the spring, talking to a couple of these guys, Ty Anthony Smith was anticipating wearing the green dot. That's not to say that Raheem Biles cannot, not to say that a Justin Cryer cannot, because of course he did that at Florida State. But right now it sounds as if Ty Anthony Smith is on that path to be the signal caller for the Longhorn defense.
Yeah, I think it'll be Smith or Cryer. I don't think that'll be Biles. I think Biles is just going to be moving around. I just think he's got
you want to free him up, right?
Yeah.
That's the weaponization.
Yeah. Yep, I agree with that. All right, let's hit super chats real quickly. Don't want to let them wait. We appreciate the super chats. Terrence Jones up first. Appreciate you. Says, Coach Shipley, have you thought about getting back into coaching high school football again? That game against Carthage is still talked about. Oh, that's a great question, Terrence Jones.
Unfortunately, I got more than one Carthage in my history, but Everman being one and Gainesville being another one. No, I've got 15 grandkids and one on the way, and I got back into coaching a few months ago. 8-year-old 5-on-5 flag football, and I was coaching with my 3-year-old special needs grandson on my shoulder, and my daughter took a picture and said, "This is a different look for Coach," but it was great. It was awesome. That's going to be the extent. Although all my family's moved to Burnett. Jordan lives there, got a house there. Jackson built a house there. My youngest daughter, Addie Jane, and her husband, Aaron Thomas, who's a Burnett boy and played wide receiver at Stephen F. Austin. They moved there. They've all got boys. They've all got at least 2 boys. And so I was kind of thinking, in about 5 or 10 years, I might be marketable again. Because I was a lot better coach when there was a Shipley on the field than I was when there wasn't.
Get the ball to
I got dumb all of a sudden real fast,
Coach, salaries are going up too now. Salaries are going up.
Yeah, they are. But so is the stress, and so is the, fighting the public education funding battle.
Yeah.
And they're talking NIL stuff, no thanks. Those young pups can have that. I'm going to enjoy my grandkids and do a little traveling. And I miss it. There's a lot of things I miss about it, but I know that train's already left the station for me. And I look back with incredibly fond memories. And I'll tell you this, talking about the boys, just coaching in general, I think is a calling, and it's molding young men and hoping that, when they're in their 30s and 40s and 50s, that you had some type of impact on them in a positive way. But there's I was visiting with a coach yesterday that's coaching in college that I've known for a long time, and he's got kids coming up, and he was asking me about it, and I said, man, I know you're still chasing the college thing, but there's nothing like coaching your own kids. There's nothing like it. Now, for you as a head coach. Now, my boys will probably tell you the opposite. You know, play for anybody but your dad, because you're going to be the first one called out anytime anything. The locker room's messy. You're going to call your own son out first, because if you didn't, then nobody on the team will respect you or your kids. You know, so it's tough on them, but. You know, riding when they're young, riding on the bus with you, you know, to the games, and, you know, hanging out at the field house after. I mean, they will come over, they ride the bus from elementary school to the high school and get off and come out and practice, you know, and just nothing like it.
Hey, Coach,
didn't make any money, but it was a lot of fun. A lot of great memories.
I was going to ask you, Coach, did you ever think you'd see a time? I think the Barbers Hill superintendent's over $300,000 a year now. And we have one high school coach over 300 or above, and a lot that are continuing to inch on up. The head coach at Carrollton in high school in George is around 250, 275. Did you ever think we'd see a time where Soups could be making that type of money and head coach ADs would be making? You could have. Now, I think people can guess the guy that makes 300, he wins state every year, and he deserves every penny of it. But did you ever think you'd see a time like that?
No. In fact, you know, I started out making $1,200 a month. And thought I was rich, you know. then when I got my first job that paid over $100,000, I'm like, man, I hope this doesn't go public, you know. You know. But now it's a very, very, very commonplace, and you know, there's a lot put on coaches, you know, and the principals love it, because the principal typically has to be the highest paid person on campus. Yes. So the principal's like, hey, Coach, have another great season. Let's get a raise, you know. In fact, I was talking to a head high school coach yesterday, and one job he had, the principal came in. He got a $15,000 raise one year, and the principal came in and bought him a brand new set of really nice Callaway golf clubs, and said, "Thanks for the raise. Have another great season. We'll do it again next year."
That is, I didn't know that little factoid about the principal thing. That's good to know. That means everybody's pushing for that coach to do well and get paid. That's why he is, hey, let's get that booster club going. Let's get that coach paid.
It may not be that way everywhere, but it's typically that way in Texas.
You're damn right.
And you can imagine the controversy it could cause if it wasn't that way. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. No, of course. No, I totally agree. And Coach, what was the record of that Little League team you was coaching?
Oh, man, we ain't going to talk about that. The most talented player on the team was probably my granddaughter.
Oh, no doubt. I believe that.
Yeah, I believe that. Now that's not taking anything away from her. She's very, very talented. Her dad's the head tennis coach at ACU, and so she is fast. She is athletic. She's not real aggressive yet, but she's going to be tennis playing Jack when it's all over with. Or Jill, say.
And that'll play flag football, Coach. It's an Olympic sport now. I believe they're gonna.
I know. She's got the speed, man. I give it to her on the reverse, the jet sweep kind of reverse type thing, and she's gone.
You know what I'm saying? Let her play it. Might get a scholarship in flag football. All right. Next up with the super chat, I think we got Jonathan. Yeah, thank you, Jonathan. Says, celebrating my 50th B-Day tonight. Ooh. Happy B-Day, Jonathan. Happy B-Day. Oh, yeah, man. I got that one coming up, too. Jared just had a B-Day. I'm not putting Jared business out there.
51.
Oh, yeah. So Jared can tell you how it feels. But congratulations, Jonathan. He says, started off with OTF. Thank you. We appreciate that. I don't drink my coffee. I smoke mine. Let's have a great year. Always up. Hey, baby. Hey, as I said, hey, whatever gets you in the right mindset, baby, take on the day. All right, to be your best self. I'm all about it, Jonathan. Hey, appreciate that super chat, man. Appreciate that love, and happy B-Day. All right, celebrated right tonight. We got one more from. How about this one? Let's go get it. Get it right there. All right, boom. How about that? Thank you, Rob Davis, help me for the super chat. Says watching. I hope I say this not. Is it Fakato?
Fakato.
Pakato. Okay. It said on YouTube, seeing the recruiting process and how the coaches talk and treat them was cool. Changed my recruiting perception. Thank you for that super chat. Yeah, I saw some of that video. What are your thoughts about this young man and the recruiting video they put out there? Texas is obviously trying to shape a narrative, putting stuff like that out there. Right?
Yeah, I think, look, I've said this before, Coach. Recruiting now, I think, has changed so much from recruiting 25 years ago. And not that guys were out there just bald-faced lying to every kid, but nowadays, anything you say can be checked. You can go to YouTube and see an interview of Lane Kiffin, Steve Sarkisian. You can go fact check anything a coach says in recruiting. Yep. It's easy to find nowadays. It wasn't easy to find 25 years ago. So I think being genuine in your approach is by far the most important thing, whether you get the kid or not, because you have to recruit to the bounce back too nowadays. You have to recruit, say, we really like player X. We may not get him from an NIL standpoint, but we may get him on the bounce back after it doesn't work out after a year. So I think you being genuine is absolutely number one in recruiting nowadays, because like I said, anything can be fact checked nowadays.
It's a good point.
Yeah. Hey, Rod, I got. Hang on. Does he not? You're the only one old enough to remember this, Jerry. Remember Petey on Little Rascals, a dog with the spot around his eye?
Yes.
That's right. Every time he puts that helmet on. I think there's Petey. Your halo light makes a perfect circle around your eye.
Thank you, Rod Davis helmet. I appreciate it. It does.
Hey guys, I got to get going. I got a
right, Coach.
Grandson graduating from kindergarten this morning. So,
thank you, Coach, for joining us. Appreciate it.
We celebrate little victories in this family.
That's a big one.
Have a cupcake for me.
Yeah, I will. You guys have a good one.
Coach. Appreciate
Thank you, Coach.
All right, Coach, we appreciate Coach always joining us. All right, let's, before we get back to questions and other topics, let's take some time to thank some of our sponsors. Jerry, if you don't mind, would you tell the folks about our friends over at Ridge?
Yes, I'm telling you right now, the Ridge Power Bank is one of those products you use one time and immediately go, okay, why did I not have this sooner? Everybody has dealt with this. Your phone needs one cord, your headphones need another, your watch needs something different. And somehow when you actually need a charger, it's never the right one. You end up digging through a bag with 5 different cords tangled together like Christmas lights. That sounds like me on this 12-day excursion I'm on. Ridge fixed that. Their 5-in-1 travel bank has built-in charging options so you can charge your phone, your Apple Watch, USB-C devices, Lightning devices, and even use MagSafe wireless charging, all from one premium power bank. And it's not just convenient, it has real power behind it. You can get up to 3 full phone charges in your pocket. That is huge when you're traveling at a game, at the airport, or just out all day and nowhere near an outlet. This thing isn't bulky either. It's sleek, looks great, and is exactly what you expect from Ridge. Clean, durable, premium, and built to last. And with Father's Day coming up, this is the perfect gift for Dad because it's something he will actually use. One thing to pack, 5 ways to power. For a limited time, get up to 40% off during Ridge's huge Father's Day sale at ridge.com/ontexas. Don't miss one of their biggest discounts all year. Just head to ridge.com/ontexas and you're all set.
All right. Thank you for that, Jared. And also, let's take some time to thank our friend and our accomplished Austin realtor, Laura Baker, also one of our sponsors. If you have any questions or concerns about real estate in the Austin area, do not hesitate to reach out to Laura Baker. Laura and the Andy Allen team at Keller Williams can handle all of your real estate needs in the Austin area. Laura is not only a diehard Longhorn fan, she is a longtime Austin real estate expert. So if you have any concerns, like I said, or questions about real estate in Austin, reach out to her today, 512-784-0505. That's 512-784-0505. Or you can reach out at laura@andyallenteam.com. That's laura@andyallenteam.com. So thank you very much to Laura Baker and her team for being a part of our team here at On Texas Football. And Jerry, would you also do us a quick favor and tell the folks about HexClad while we're taking a break here to thank our sponsors?
Yep. Listen up, fellas. Spring cleaning is here. And before You pretend your kitchen is just fine. Go look at that pan you've been using since college. It's warped, scratched up, burnt, or smells like bad decisions. It's time to upgrade that one. That's why I'm a big fan of Hexclad, as is Blake Monroe and On Texas Football Family. These pans are legit. They give you the sear and the heat control you want from stainless steel, but with the easy cleanup of nonstick. That's the part that got me. You can actually cook with them, get great results, and then you're not standing over the sink for 20 minutes trying to scrape everything off. And you do not have to baby them either. Hexclad is metal, utensil safe, dishwasher safe, oven safe up to 900 degrees. What would you cook 900? And stay cool handles are a big deal when you're moving fast in the kitchen. Plus, every Hexclad product comes with a lifetime warranty, so you'll never have to buy pans again. There's a reason Gordon Ramsay, he should have been a coach, uses Hexclad at home and in his restaurants. The secret is out. Hexclad has over 1 million customers and more than 50,000 5-star reviews. So don't go through another spring using the same busted up pans you've should have thrown out years ago. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off with our exclusive link. Go to hexclad.com/ontexas. You know how when you have a great product, if it's delivered to the door and your significant other takes it from you, you never see it again. That's what happens with Hexclad.
Good stuff, Jerry. Appreciate that. And thanks to our sponsors there, Hexclad as well, and Ridge and Accomplished Austin Ridge, Laura Baker. All right. Oh, we got a super chat here, and I got a question after that. But Isaiah with a super chat. I said, how's the recruitment going for Marcus Fakatu?
I got an update on that yesterday. And I think the right now the thought is Texas and Ohio State are probably the top two. Now, Oregon's in it, Notre Dame's in it for sure. The interesting thing, Ohio State, JT Tuamalo has been trying to help in the recruitment of him, as Ohio State's been recruiting Fakato as a end, even though I still think it's going to be hard to keep him under 300 pounds. He's just got a huge frame. He's being recruited as an end exclusively by Ohio State the whole way through. The interesting Ohio State will have to overcome is that there's a thought that Larry Johnson's going to retire after this year or potentially next year. So you're going to have to recruit around Larry Johnson getting very close to retirement age. So, and Texas may be in a position to do a little bit of that with Lyle Clark. So I do think that's something that Ohio State's going to have to navigate as this recruitment gets closer to the end. But if it's not one of those four schools right now, I'd be surprised. But I do think there's more of a lean that's Texas and Ohio State are the top two. But we'll see. Texas put everything they could into it. They were out there for 2.5 days in SoCal last week. I mean, they put everything they could into it. And there you see Muschamp, Lyle Clark, Kenny Baker, and Chris Gilbert. I mean, they sent the recruiting army out to SoCal.
That's the big guns right there.
Yeah, for him to see Curry last week. But I think right now, Texas, Ohio State has to navigate around Larry Johnson and how long is he going to coach. Texas has to navigate around, hey, are you going to play edge at Texas? What's the role they envision for him? And is that something that matches up with the Fakatu and his circle? So I think everybody's got something they've got to navigate around in this recruitment.
Okay. All right. It's good stuff there, Jerry. All right. Thank you for the super chat. We appreciate that. Before we'll get back to some football here, but I do want to mention softball NCAA regional versus Wagner at 3 p.m. today. What's happening? Any thoughts about softball and the ladies? And I mean, the expectation obviously for them is championship or bust. That's what happens when you're trying to win multiple championships. So obviously that's their mission. That's anything other than that is going to be a disappointment. But the ladies definitely seem ready to roll.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's going to be very difficult to defend the title from a year ago. But look, that's the expectation that you've now built for yourself. If you're Mike White in the softball program, getting postseason started, I think, is going to be a fun time for them. Again, coming off of the SEC title in the SEC tournament, you've got momentum, right? You're riding that high. Now it's all about continuing, that winning, that feeling of being on top. So, look, 3 p.m. this afternoon. It's not too hot yet. I don't expect it to be super hot today, but hey, it's starting to get summer levels down here. I thought I was walking around last night going to go watch the NHL playoffs. It's probably still about 85 down here. So it's getting a little bit hot down in the summer, but hey, so is Texas softball, so they should be used to it by now.
I think the big thing with softball is if the favorites win the region, then the super regional will be A&M at Texas next weekend to go to the softball World Series. I don't think you can ask for much better than that if that scenario plays out.
That would be fantastic. I mean, how can you not root for that? I know you don't want to. Excuse me. I really don't want to root for the Aggies to win, but that'd be a fantastic scenario.
You want to talk about an unbelievable atmosphere?
What's the ticket price for that going to be? Hell, I mean, seriously. I mean, where would it be at, Jerry?
In Austin.
Oh man, that'd be
A&M at Texas to go to the softball World Series.
Yeah, I don't know what the ticket price is normally, but that's gonna be like twice. I guarantee it'll be 2 times what the normal ticket price is.
Real quick, because I know we got some other stuff we want to hit, but is there another sport outside of football and probably softball, like a very close number 2, where Texas versus OU and Texas versus A&M always delivers like this?
No.
It's got to be Texas. It's got to be football 1 and then softball 2, or you could probably even flip it now that all 3 teams are basically top 5 each year.
Yeah.
OU still hasn't found the end zone in a couple of years. So
softball played out as well as it possibly could from a regional standpoint last year, with Texas knocking out Oklahoma and then playing Texas Tech and their $1 million pitcher.
Yeah.
I'm not sure anything could have played out better than that last year for the state of Texas and the region. Softball's delivered for fans.
Yeah, it was the perfect Texas gauntlet too.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. All right, let's and thank you, and also Texas baseball. Shout out to them; they won yesterday, I believe, 6-2.
Missouri. Yep.
So shout out to Texas baseball as well. All right, gentlemen, can we get? I want to back to football. I got another random question for you guys, and then I want to kind of quiz y'all. I do these. I don't know when I started doing it. I basically was watching the draft one year, a few years ago, and I'm such a nerd watching the draft. I would basically like look up guys as they get drafted. Like, what's background on this dude? If I didn't like already kind of know him from watching college football and watching him a lot. And the pattern in my head, because I try to recognize patterns and stuff, I was like, man, all these guys are kind of coming from like major metro areas. Like it's not, guys aren't coming from the middle of nowhere in the country anymore. Like a lot of these guys are coming. So I started tracking draft picks and what metro areas in the country, greater metro, like greater Houston, great DFW, which one of them produced the most NFL draft picks. And because I was like, you should just consolidate your resources to those places. Like, why the hell you don't even need to go to the little country spots and country towns and get that one guy. You don't need to. Just stay in that one mecca. And that's what. So I've been doing it now for like 6. This is probably the 7th draft I did it for. So I'm gonna quiz Jerry and CJ, and where they think the most fertile recruiting metro areas are in the country. So we'll get to that too coming up. But here's my question, and this is about Texas football. I want to talk about the clutch gene a little bit. Yes. And the question is a simple one, because I think each year you have one or two of these guys. Outside of quarterback, who's going to be the most clutch player for Texas in 2026? Like, think about it last year. Who was it? Pretty easy. Niblett. And Niblett was clutch. Like, Niblett came in, so he literally won a couple of games for you. I don't know if anybody was as clutch as Ryan Niblett was last year, but like I said, Arch was pretty damn clutch himself down the stretch. In 2024, I felt like Matthew Golden was clutch.
And John A. Barron.
You took the words right over. I feel like Jade and Big. I was like, Jade showed every big game he would make a big play. And I played with guys like that. Some guys just ate at the clutch team, and some guys didn't. Don't talk about that. In 2023, I mean, who was it in 2023?
Mitchell. TCU game, you get the touchdown against Washington. I mean, there were moments.
Yep. AD, yeah, I totally agree with you. And I feel like obviously Bijan and Rojo were both clutch. That's why they were there. But I do feel like every year you have guys outside of quarterbacks. Your quarterback's got to have the clutch gene. If you're a quarterback doing Jalen Ford.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Remember how clutch Jalen Ford was?
Yeah.
Especially his junior year.
Oh my goodness. He had the clutch gene that year. So what was that, 2022?
22.
Yep.
So he was the guy in 2022 on defense outside of kind of
should have won the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year in 22.
Yeah, he should have, because that was he probably should have left after that year. Honestly, not looking back.
Also true. Yeah.
But different discussion. So who is that guy? Because outside of quarterback, it's always one or two. Like I said, last year Ryan Nibley was so damn clutch. It was awesome. Who's the clutch guy outside of Arch for 2026?
It needs to be Colin Simmons.
It should be. I would like it to be.
Yeah. I was going to go Jelani McDonald, just in the sense that, hey, you're probably going to be used more middle of the field. You'll be everywhere. But you would like, obviously, your top 5 pick to be that game breaker, just like you would in Arch Manning. Arch had some clutch gene ability last year as well to close out games. You look at the Michigan run, the A&M run. I was rewatching the Texas OU game. He had what could have been about a 60-yard rushing touchdown in that game, about 3 minutes left in the fourth. He goes down, he takes a kneel, but he had that ability, and he needed to be that guy because Texas didn't have a run game. He had to brush off a pass rush basically every time he had the ball in his hands. I'll tell you this, if Texas had a clutch gene kicker in 2024, they're hosting a SEC championship trophy.
Boom. That's a good one. Good one.
Surprised you didn't say that one, Jerry.
I thought about it because Mason Shipley brought it out a little bit last year for Texas.
Ship had some of that. He did. Shipley had some of that.
So somebody, and I keep having the same answer for a lot of things. So man, I'm really raising expectations. One guy that's shown it a little bit not at Texas was Biles at Pitt.
Yeah, I've seen that in the chat. A couple of folks.
Kind of that Jalen Ford turnover magnet.
Yeah.
And when you get the ball in your hands, you can create. How about this?
I like that.
And I don't know. Rod, maybe you could speak to this, how clutch you can quantify a cornerback. But if a Bo Masco is someone that Texas can regularly rely on to defend against, Mario Craver, Isaiah Pena, someone of that, like someone that they'll see consistently that'll get 8 to 10 targets per game. If they can consistently feel like he is someone that they can rely on in those situations, I could see it. Especially considering how often we heard his name making plays on the football and coming away with interceptions. Now, there might also be a bit of a wall that he has to overcome, right? It's great to get interceptions in the spring, but he wasn't an interception creator at Rutgers. That was why it was probably such a pleasant surprise that we heard his name as often as we did in the spring. So that's something that, should we see that translate to the fall, especially in this Muschamp Orfe kind of, system for corners. It's going to be really interesting to see if he could be someone just like a Jade was, where, okay, big plays are happening. It's because of a guy that you trust on the outside one-on-one on an island.
Yeah. That'd be great to have a corner that's got that clutch gene. Like you said, that'd be good. Some people said Trevor Gooseby. Trevor Gooseby does have the clutch gene, actually. In big games, he's played really, really well. Like he's played, some of his best film is going to come from him in big games. Rule, that's my vote for clutch. Yeah.
I'll tell you one we may not see it this year, but in the future we will. Jermaine Bishop.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, that's a good one. Yeah.
There's no doubt about him. Andrew Makuba.
Makuba did have it. Makuba was a good one. We missed him. They're right. He did have the clutch gene. Yeah.
Jeff Howe and I filmed a video on kind of expectations for Jermaine Bishop, like what we expect, how we factor him into the offense. The thought came across my head with Jeff on the video, and I want to get y'all's thoughts. I don't know who is the Texas receiving leader when it comes to defensive holdings and defensive pass interferences drawn. But by the end of Jermaine Bishop's 3 years at Texas, I would be shocked if he was not a guy that just had flag after flag after flag drawn on him by defenders trying to stay in front or not just get toasted off of a quick slant go, whatever you want to call it.
That's a good point, because honestly, one of my complaints about Ryan Wingo, and I only got a few because I love me some Ryan Wingo, is that you need to be better at drawing PIs, because they grabbing you and holding you. And I'm not saying it's your fault, but you do. That's part of your job. You got to learn how to sell it, whatever it is, because he gets PI'd a lot, and then sometimes just let it go. And I'm like, you gotta, as a receiver, that's kind of your job to figure out how to sell that a little bit more if you get PI'd in terms of the contact and creating the contact and things downfield. So I agree with you on that. I think you're right. And maybe it's accelerating.
Ryan Gilgeous-Alexander, baby. Show me something.
Yeah. I need to sell it.
CJ, I think you're spot on. I had somebody very close to it say, guys don't like covering Jermaine Bishop. That's always the sign. That's always the sign, because it's smooth speed deep. It's smooth movements getting in and out of cuts. Everything is smooth with him, Rod, and so it's deceptive. And then he can hit you with a little, and I don't want to compare him. He can hit you with a little Peter Wark, the extra pop step too. He's just, I was told people don't like covering him.
Yeah, no, I would say he might be if you think about it, he could be the toughest cover on the channel. Cam Coleman is probably, because Cam Coleman's always, the problem with Cam Coleman is, even if I got him covered, he can just box me out in verticality and use his contested catch ability and still mouse me. Like, he's got that ability. But I'm not worried about him separating from me, really. And I know he's got speed. I'm not saying he's slow, but I had speed too, so I could run. Yeah. Jermaine Bishop's one of those guys. He's just as quick as he is fast.
Yes.
Like you said, he's the fluidity, smooth movement, so there's no wasted movement, and it's not choppy. So I'm with you can make the argument right behind Cam Coleman. He might be the toughest cover on the team. And I wouldn't off coverage. I don't want to cover a guy like that off. No. He's a nightmare. Oh, I got to get my hands on that dude, and I got to be running
attached early. Yeah,
I got to start bumping him. I can't let him just go clean off the line. Like, no way. No. That's a fool's errand. That's not smart. I wouldn't do it. I would have to try to disrupt him. I know a lot of people won't do it, but I would have to try to. And he's small-ish. It's kind of the same conundrum we had in Xavier Worthy. Yes. He's got a chance that he can just leave you. That's a good point, and separate ridiculously. But I would rather get hands on those guys early rather than get that clean release, because that clean release, you imagine Xavier Worthy with nobody in front of him, that's basically running a 4.240 at you. Hell no, I can't have that.
Hey, we got a great question from the chat, and I don't think this has been brought up on any show I've been on. Nathaniel Loper. Is there a sleeper team in the SEC that might shock people this year? Who's the team that nobody's talking about? Everybody's talking about Texas, Georgia, LSU, A&M, and Oklahoma, and Alabama a little bit. But even Alabama's ranked a little lower this year. Who is that team? Is it Florida?
I think it's Florida.
Talent-wise, it's got to be, right?
Yes.
I'm a big believer in Florida. Again, you look at the skill talent that they have on top of what we already know to be a very physical team up front on both sides of the football. I think that's going to be, if Phylon is who folks in the industry believe he can be, and of course he's coming over with his offensive coordinator, Buster Faulkner, from Georgia Tech, there's reason to think that that Florida could be very dangerous. I'm a big believer in Florida. I see a lot of folks mentioning Missouri.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I truly believe this, but I believe in Kamario Taylor, and I believe that Mississippi State was very close to beating Texas. They were very close to beating Tennessee. Mm-hmm. They were very close to being a pretty just one of those teams that you just don't want to play. And I think they might take a step this year. So I'll keep Mississippi State on the side for now.
What I like about Missouri, I think Austin Simmons he's got enough experience to where he could be really good in that system. It all's going to center around Ahmad Hardy now. But the crazy thing about Missouri is, I think Eli Drinkwitz is underappreciated as a head coach. And I say this because if he didn't lose his top two quarterbacks last year, he'd have won 10 games or more for a third straight season at Missouri in the SEC.
Yep.
Raise your hand if anybody would have bet on that. Nobody would have bet on that when he was hired at Missouri. You're going to win 10 games 3 straight years in the SEC at Missouri. And the only reason he didn't is because his number 1 and 2 quarterbacks got hurt last year.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Is his comp, now that Texas is in the conference with him, is he the Matt Campbell of the SEC, Jerry?
Oh, that's good.
Yes,
that's money.
Probably.
That's
doing that at Iowa State versus Missouri, don't think about him.
Yep.
Gets results.
He's always out. Say out kicking your coverage. He's out coaching his coverage, man. He's always out coaching it. I remember we did trap games? I think it was and I picked Mizzou because I was like, man, Drinkowitz, so he's just a hell of a coach. And this was before the Ahmad Hardy incident and everything. So obviously that changes stuff because I don't know his availability and all that kind of stuff for the season. But it's because he's a really good young coach. I don't think people don't pay attention to Missouri. They easily go under the radar. Like you said, Jared, nobody's paying attention that he was there winning double-digit games. Nobody even cared. But he's that good of a coach in the SEC because he's doing it, and he don't have the talent of half the teams on his schedule. Like, probably, you know what I mean? So I'm with you on that. I agree with you about Eli Drinkowitz. He's one of my favorite young coaches to follow. All right, good stuff there, good guys. Let's get a couple of questions. I know we're getting close to the end of the program, so we'll get a couple of more questions, and then I want to get to my metro areas little quiz for you. How about this one from Nathaniel? Says for Jerry. Jerry, there was a D lineman that reclassified to 27 from 28. I can't find his name on the tweet I saw. Do you potentially know who I'm talking about? Man.
Yeah, he's from Rabun Gap, Georgia. He's really, really talented. I think he had 13 sacks last year. Texas has not offered him to this point. I think that's more of a Georgia, Florida, Tennessee deal. And he did – it's Alexander's his last name. I can't remember his first name. He did reclass from 28 to 27, and we'll see if Texas offers him and tries to get in on him. We're actually monitoring another different part of the country of an edge player reclasses coming up, but we'll talk more about that if we hear it's going to happen.
Sagan Alexander, Gary.
Sagan Alexander. There you go.
Good stuff, guys. Red is mine. Sugar Poppy Chulo says Drink is 7-19 against top 25 teams at Missouri. ... Yeah, I mean he's gonna have some issues against any teams, but I think he's done a pretty good job at Missouri. Yeah. I do. And like I said, Austin Simmons, I mean, didn't he have a starting job before Trinidad Chambliss?
Yeah, he did.
Taking the job. So Lane Kiffin likes him, so he must be. So I'm not arguing about the 7-19 thing against top 25 teams. I get that. But I think he's still one of the better young coaches out there, considering what he's working with there in Missouri. But next question here. How about this one? From King, he says, any recruiting news on cornerbacks not named Meredith?
Yeah, I mean, Texas loves Dylan McGee. He's committing June 25th, I think it is, or 24th. Texas loves him. I think Texas, SMU, Penn State are your schools. Texas, SMU battle. SMU's really battling to keep these Dallas area guys home. I think they got a little NIL high school war chest deal they have at their disposal this year. So we'll see what happens. But I think Dylan McGee really likes Texas. Trenton Blaylock at Atascocita, his recruitment's going to be really interesting because obviously his brother is running back at Oklahoma. Yeah. And he's visiting Vanderbilt, Texas, Oklahoma, and Florida State. I've often joked that if his dad, Derek Blaylock, obviously played in the NFL as a running back, does a great job training kids out at Atascocita area. I've often joked from an NIL standpoint, I'd send my other kid to Texas. I'd have one at Oklahoma and one at Texas from an NIL standpoint. That's what I would do, but that's not what I'm saying is going to happen.
All right. I like it. All right. Before we get out of here, I want to quiz you guys real quick on my metro areas tabulations from the NFL draft. Those that don't know, I've been since 2020. Actually, I started doing this, tabulating NFL draft picks and where they're from, and then trying to basically tabulate the most fertile metro areas for producing NFL draft picks. Yeah. Because I think that's where you're starting to see a concentration of NFL draft picks come from. So there are, I believe now, from 2020, there are 17 metro areas that have produced at least 20 NFL draft picks. And the reason I marked that number is because Austin's right at 20.
Yeah.
In my calculation. They had 3 this year based on my calculation. So Austin's right at 20, which is really good. So you guys want to take a guess and see how many times you can guess what metro areas have produced 20 or more?
I'll start. CJ, go say. Well, we'll just
you just go back and forth, and I'll tell you where you are. Boom. Give me a metro area.
I don't know if it's number 1 or number 2, but Atlanta Metro. It's the most talented area I've gone to in recent years.
Atlanta is number 1. All right, 110.
That's why I say Georgia's the best recruiting job in college football, guys.
It's crazy.
The talent in Metro Atlanta is wild when you go there.
It's
like when
wild.
I used to be ESPN Under Armour, I was over the Under Armour camp in Atlanta a couple of years. The amount of big-bodied athletes,
it's crazy.
Is crazy. It's like we have certain numbers we had to fill on defensive line. I said I really have to stop at 25. I could get 40 guys that are going to future Power 4 guys in here on defensive line and a junior and sophomore class, rising senior juniors. But they also have all positions. It's a really good baseball state too. They have guys. They have all positions. They have jokers that can throw the ball now. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson, national championship quarterbacks. Come out of those areas. But Atlanta is so talented. So talented.
Yeah.
Every.
Yeah.
It was fun, Jerry, going to see Tyler Atkinson a year ago after SEC Media Days, and we see the 4 teams scrimmaging in early July, just seeing studs on each team. You're like, wait a minute, this is crazy. But to the point, number 2, Rod, I'll go Houston. We'll knock it out.
Houston makes it to the top 5. They're 5th on this list with 61 since 2020.
Right.
61 prospects drafted, which is pretty good. That's a solid number. As I say, Atlanta's in a different universe right now. Jerry,
I'm in between Miami and DFW. I'll go Miami.
All right, Miami is 4th. They're right ahead of Houston. They're at 72.
All right, then I'll go DFW. We'll knock that one out then.
That DFW is number 2 on this list. At 87 prospects that I have them tabulated. They had 14 in this draft alone.
Wow.
Well, 3's got to be Los Angeles.
3 is LA. 77 of them. They're 11 by my calculation in this draft. So, yep, that's your top 5: Atlanta, DFW, LA, Miami, and Houston. That is your top 5, and it's pretty much been that. That was last year's top 5 too. Sometimes they change, because we don't have a bigger. But right now, Atlanta is clear number 1, and DFW is clear number 2, and there's not separation. All right, this will get more fun as y'all get into some of the deeper weeds here. Any guess on the next ones here? You guys got the top 5 really well.
New Orleans.
New Orleans is not in the top 16, 17 here. I guess is what we're looking at.
Wow.
Yeah, they're way down there. Yeah, they're down further. I haven't looked at exactly their number, but they're down further. They're not in the top. Yeah. Not since 2020.
Interesting.
Detroit.
Detroit is number 7 on this list. Yeah, with 41 in that time span.
They got dudes there.
They got dudes.
Do I need to get super specific about the DMV, Rod, or can I just use that?
No, you just hit it. Boom, baby. You're right there. That's 6th right there. And they had a great draft too. They had 14 in this draft, and they are right behind Houston, and they might catch Houston. Honestly, they might catch next year.
They get the super freaks. Every time that I hear South Carolina having, one of these all-world.
Hold on. What do you say? What did you say?
They have the super freaks up there, like South Carolina.
I don't know what area did you say. I thought you said DMV. What did you say?
That's what I said. Like the Nick Eamon-Warries, the Nicholas Harbors of the world. Okay. Every time it sounds like they all just come from the DMV, and you're like, how did Maryland or whoever in that area?
Right. You're right about that area. Like I said, I've had some dispute from people of how big it is and what it constitutes a DMV, but that's what they call it. And you're right, CJ. It's money. I don't know what Texas actually. That's one of the few places. That's what I love about Texas. Texas hits Atlanta, DFW, of course, LA, they've hit Miami, Houston, of course. They have not hit the DMV. Texas don't really touch the DMV. They don't go up there.
That's more like that's Big Ten country. That's Big Ten. I mean, like that's Ohio State, Notre Dame, James Franklin, Penn State now. James Franklin.
Yeah.
That's a different area.
That's a good job, CJ, because most people don't get that one. That's the one that people never get because they don't know how much talent it produces. It is rich with talent. So
man,
you guys got the top 7. You guys got the top 7.
Yeah,
already. You guys.
I know Orlando and Jacksonville are probably on there somewhere.
They're right outside of it. They're right around like 20.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about Florida. Florida's got a bunch of these. Florida's got like 4 of them. Yeah, they got like 10, the Tampa Bay area, that kind of thing. They got a bunch.
My next one was actually going to be Chicago.
You're damn, Jerry. You're good, brother. Right behind Detroit is Chi-Town.
Yeah,
they had 7 draft picks this year, so that they're 8th on the list.
I don't know which city has the most in terms of this state. I kind of want to just go the full state if I could, but what about like Cincinnati, Ohio?
Cincinnati is good because I just saw. Yeah, Cincinnati is not in the top 20 here, but Cincinnati had 4 this year, and they are like probably 20. They're in the top 30.
I should have just said every coach is from Ohio.
They're like, and honestly, Columbus is actually a little bit higher on the list than Cincinnati.
Okay. So, I wanted to go the full state because I didn't.
That's the deal. Columbus is on here, Cincinnati's on there. So you end up, some of those states end up with a couple of rich pockets of talent. All right.
Pittsburgh's a good one. Dave Ashley throwing up Pittsburgh, Rob?
Yeah, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's got to be on there, Dave.
Pittsburgh, man, let me look on here. It's not in the top 20 here.
Oh, I'll tell you one. Richmond Tidewater has to be on there in Virginia.
Is that the Hampton Roads?
Yeah, Hampton Roads. That's got to be on there.
Hampton Roads actually it's not like in the top 20, but it is one of the rich areas. And Pittsburgh is not in the top 16, 20 teams here. I mean, sorry. They're right outside the top 20. Pittsburgh. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. You're just looking at since
I want to give the chat. Somebody in the chat said Charlotte earlier.
Charlotte is good. Charlotte is right. Charlotte is you guys had Chicago, and that was the 9th team. They were 9th. Yeah. Charlotte is 11th.
There you go. Good one, Erica. There you go.
No Nebraska cities made it. I'm taking it. I don't know if that's your word.
The question is, LA can't be the only California area because there's too much town. There's too many.
No, you got every California area y'all are missing.
San Diego and Oakland.
San Francisco, Oakland is their own metro area, and it is also it's right behind. I don't want to give y'all this one because it's a Florida area y'all have missed as well that y'all ain't getting. That should be in there. NYC.
Oh, it's easy. Tampa's easy.
Boom. You missed Tampa, St. Pete. It is right ahead of the San Francisco, Oakland area, and right behind Charlotte. And yes, you're New York, you're tri-state, as they call it there, with New York. You are right behind Chicago. So Atlanta's 1, DFW 2, LA 3, Miami 4, Houston 5, DMV. All right, that area 6, Detroit 7, Chicago 8, tri-state, whatever, New York, New Jersey area, that's 9. Charlotte is 10, Tampa Bay, St. Pete 11, San Francisco, Oakland 12, Phoenix 13. Y'all missed Cleveland.
Cleveland
14. Las Vegas.
Las Vegas population growth from LA. Yeah.
Las Vegas showing up. And then you have sorry, I missed one. I apologize about this. Kansas City metro area. Kansas City shocked me. I don't forget about Kansas City. They should be on here too because they're at 25 at Kansas City Metro with Kansas City, Missouri.
Almost had a bunch of pros over the last 25 years from Kansas City.
Yeah, so Kansas City should be in here too. And then you have Austin right behind Las Vegas with 20 that I have in that time span since 2020.
Texas Van says so. Texas has the most cities. I think Florida does.
Texas would end up with, and I mean, it depends on how you want to do it. Like basically, I'm probably gonna cut my ranking off when I get to single. If you got single digits in a major metro area, I mean, since 2020, I probably won't include that. Here's some little nuggets though. Louisiana is always one of these weird little pockets, like because they have like New Orleans and they got Shreveport in there now. Monroe grows in there, Baton Rouge in there. They get like 4 or 5 in there. Alabama will surprise you because Mobile kind of jumps down there. They have like they don't have a big seed that produces a lot, but they have like 4 or 5 that's producing like 1 or 2 every year. You know what I mean? 4 or 5 little pockets in the state. So it's really interesting. Florida and Texas probably have the most high level in terms of prolific metro areas producing. Texas and Florida.
It leads to this. Oh, sorry. All right, go ahead.
No, I was just saying Denver's not in that top 20 in terms of producing like since 2020. They're not in the top 20.
And it leads to this. What I've said about the Texas job since they moved to the SEC is if 80 to 85% of your roster annually comes from the states of Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and California, you're going to be one of the top 5 most talented programs in the country every year. If you can pull 80 to 85% of your players from those states and those areas that Rod's talked about, but I think Southern Georgia has a ton of talent. It's just, do you have time to go recruit it all? You're going to be one of the most 6 most talented programs in the country every year. Bottom line, you see A&M's trying to do the same thing. A&M's trying to recruit the same exact states Texas is. There's a reason for that, because if you recruit those states, you're going to be a top 5, 6, 7 most talented program in the country every year.
Yeah, not agree with you. No, it's fascinating. And like I said, I love that all these places we're talking about, these fertile metro areas, you can track that Texas is starting to diversify their recruiting in those pockets. Yep. Like when Atlanta started bubbling, like Sark went right to Atlanta. He didn't hesitate. Like he started getting guys. Like I'm gonna get me 2 or 3 guys out of this Atlanta area. All right, good stuff, guys. All right, thank you to our lead sponsor, South Point Dodge. Thank them one more time before we end today's live stream. Thank you very much to our friends at South Point Dodge. If you need a car, truck, something new, something used, trade in, you can trust our friends over at South Point Dodge. There's nothing like Texas football, and nothing runs like a Ram. South Point Dodge is Austin's Ram headquarters and Austin's automotive everything. The deals are hotter than a Saturday in DKR. Huge savings on Ram trucks and Jeep SUVs, plus exclusive perks on Texas football listeners. For Texas football listeners, 90 days to make your first payment, and they'll ship that new ride to you anywhere you are in the great state of Texas or beyond. Over 600 vehicles in stock right now, so whether you need a workhorse or a weekend warrior, we've got you covered over at southpointdodge.com. So go visit them online at southpointdodge.com, or you can go see them off of I-35 in South Austin. You can get to the point with our friends over at South Point Dodge. Thank you very much to our friends at South Point Dodge for sponsoring coffee and football. Thank you, CJ. Great job today. Appreciate all your hard work. Thank you, Jerry. Great stuff as always. Appreciate the expertise. We'll be back or at least I'll be back. I think Jerry might be back too at 3 p.m. for the 3 p.m. live stream. I know, sorry, we got to go, but don't worry. We're coming right back at you at 3 p.m. So if you got any questions that we couldn't answer, we'll have you at 3 p.m. When is the announcement for Brock Williams happening?
Brock Williams is 12:05 Central Time on the Pat McAfee Show. We will be going live at noon as well.
Boom! See, there you go. Hey, they ain't gonna make you wait. You ain't got to wait too long because OTF, we're gonna bring it to you. I love that. See, all right. So we'll be going live 2 more times.
Yes.
All right, today. So you'll get your fix. All right. Thank you to all you guys out there for the super chats. Really appreciate it. Thank you for the participation. We'll be back for the during the Brock Williams announcement, I should say. For Jerry and for CJ, I'm Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babies. Until next time, hook 'em horns.